Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. All right, y'all, so we'll jump into the reading. Right now, you are standing in the level of protection. So you have like this entire divine bubble around you that is protecting you. But in order to get to this phase, this level of protection, you had to go through some trials and some tribulations. Now that you are in this protection, you are about to experience an acceleration, meaning the way you move forward is going to be very fast. Whenever I see this card, it makes me think of like playing the Mario Kart. You know how sometimes like you'll hit a turtle shell and you'll go slow or you'll spin, but then you'll hit like a boost and all of a sudden you go like way beyond the people that you are racing against. And so for a period of time in your physical world, you could have been hitting turtle shells and you may have been feeling like you were spinning out of control. Now that was supposed to teach you something, and we'll talk about what you learned in that phase. But now I want you to imagine that you have got some kind of force field around you. Obviously, for us, we're spiritual, so we know this is a divine force field that is protecting you. And now that you have this force field, even if you attempted to bump into anything, it doesn't matter. You're going fast and you're not stopping. But it took some work in order to get here. And so we begin the reading with obstacles and challenges. This is about like kind of like the Five of Wands. It's like every time you got to take a step, you don't know if the step is secure. You don't know if you're going to fall. You don't know if the step itself is going to break and cave in. That could have been what you felt for a variety of seasons. Those seasons may have caused you some type of mental or emotional instability, right? And it makes sense because if your outer world is unstable, if your outer world is full of obstacles and challenges, well, internally that is going to also reflect as within, so without, right? As above, so below. And what that really means is that the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. And so here's the thing. If you felt like you kept hitting turtle shells, you kept spinning out of control, the reason why that was necessary is because you were being divinely guided. Now, the purpose of this divine guidance, it was supposed to teach you something. It says, let your decisions come from a place of peace, not reaction. And so there were seasons where chaotic is what you felt on the inside, and it was reflected on the outside world. It was only supposed to groom, grow, and teach you how to, even when times are rough, even when you don't know where to go, even when there's an obstacle, even when there's a challenge, still, how do you get to a place of peace and then decide, right? Every decision, no matter whether it's a blizzard, a sunny day, a monsoon, don't pay attention to the weather outside. I want you to always be in a space of peace before you make a decision. And so sometimes there are things inside of us that aren't allowing us to make decisions because we're only reacting, and we're really reacting to what we're carrying on the inside. And so that means we are going to deal with a lot of physical challenges until we can understand how to sustain our own energy, how to always operate from a place of center no matter what is going on. Your peace is your peace. You control what you can control, and you can always control the way you react and the way you respond. So there may have been seasons where we felt like I keep hitting turtle shells, or I keep stepping and things keep breaking, like that energy, but it was growing something inside of you, a level of resilience. So next phase we get is endings. Now, as soon as you understand how to respond to people, places, and things from the place of peace that you possess, not that everybody got to be peaceful that you're responding to, no, but you control what you control, right? Now that you master that, now you get to the seasons of endings. This means people from your past and experiences from your past. It's like once you understand how to maintain your own peace, these people, places, and things, they don't even serve a purpose anymore, right? Because anybody that attempts to disturb your peace, they have no place in your present. They have no place in your future. And so now this is the endings. Sometimes a lot of people benefit off of you being mentally and emotionally unstable. And as soon as you can master that, and when people can no longer reach in your world and cause you some type of discomfort, like now they become the one that is mentally and emotionally unstable, right? So you get to a place of peace. Anybody that was able to benefit off of you being chaotically out of control, these people have to hit a brick wall, meaning their time in your life, in your energy, in your space must end. I have a quote here from Earth_Angel87, Queen Gully. She wrote this to me in the comment section, and I asked or told her I was going to make it into a card, and she said in the part of California where she's from, the real ones, meaning the people that are real through and through, they're authentic and they're true. She said there's a saying and it says, "This ain't that, homie." And so there could have been a period of time where people were able to play with you in a certain way and they could get you to respond, they could get you to react, right? And it kind of makes people feel good to see you out of control. But as soon as you get to a place of peace, those same people from your past, they try to play with you in the same way and it's not working. And so in her words, "This ain't that, homie. Whatever you did to me in the past, you can't do to me now." Right? Your time has ended here. Do you want to leave out of that door? Or do you want to leave out of this door? Right? And so sometimes you have to get to the point where you grow and you develop. In order to make sure you've grown and developed, you have to develop and grow beyond the people that benefited off of an older version of you. So now you're in this position of protection. Now, something is a little different about this protection. I have the energy of crying. We have one of our tribe members that was writing in the comments not too long ago, and she's pregnant, and she says she's been crying and crying. And I responded to her and I told her I just made a homemade deck. And there was a deck that I made, or there was a card that I made in this deck. I'm about to read it, but it talks about crying. This is actually a quote by Johnny Depp. And it says, "People cry not because they are weak, but because they've been strong for too long." And so that was my message to her. You know, sometimes we cry not as a sign of weakness. If it's like you've been strong so long, sometimes you just want to know, like, when is it going to end? And I'm telling you that the message in this reading is like, the ending is now. The ending is now. And so the mental and the emotional instability, it was supposed to groom a response. After you get the proper response, when people try to reach into your life and trigger you, like they trigger you before, you hit them with the Earth_Angel87. This ain't that, homie. And now you're in the season of recognizing, dang, I went through all of that, but it actually afforded me something. There's a strength that you carry that is unshakable, right? And so the level of protection that you have gained, I want you to know you built this protection. I'm just thinking of the Three Little Pigs real quick, but for a period of time, you could have been acting like a straw house. You could have been acting like a stick house, and now you are a brick house. And so the protection that you experienced divinely, you helped build this. You started to bring bricks instead of straw. You know, you brought sticks instead of straw. Like, you leveled up, but you leveled up in how you responded to life. And it was really because you understood how to sustain the peace within you. Now, not only do you get protection, not only are things going to advance, but it's like the way that you have had to be strong, it was always leading you to something. And so now I have the energy of the Ace of Pentacles, which means in this next season, prosperity begins. The way prosperity is going to begin is you are finally going to experience relationships where there is real love. Anybody that loved you or that you loved from your past, people that you hold emotional memories with, anybody that triggered you or enjoyed seeing you operate outside of self, they were not in love with you. They did not love you. They did not honor and respect you. Even if they use the words, it is their behavior that we measure. This next season, now that you got your brick house, now that you're moving in stability, you may have dealt with a lot of people that were hard-hearted, or you yourself became hard-hearted because you kept dealing with people who like to trigger you. They like to break you down. They like to see you cry. Now, those people could have caused you to be hard-hearted towards self, right? Or you could have been hard-hearted to others. You're like, you know what? Every time I try to open myself up to love, I get hurt. I'm tired of this. And so there it is. I just won't deal with love. I won't attempt to express. I won't let anybody in, and I'm definitely not going out. Now, when you operate like that, it's almost like we're being greedy because we are sharing. We're just keeping everything for us because we don't trust anybody to be able to handle it. And when we operate in greed, or when we kind of starve other people and we don't really allow them to access all of us, it is because we haven't yet understood how to respond when people trigger us. Sometimes people lie, they cheat, they steal, they gossip, they slander. None of that has to take away your peace. And for the seasons that it is able to subtract peace from you, those are seasons where you are being divinely guided on how to protect your peace. It's like the Most High is saying, baby, you're still bringing straw. There's nothing wrong with love. There's nothing wrong with relationships, but I need you to operate in a certain amount of strength, right? Don't bring straw. And you're like, fine, I'll bring sticks. And so you bring sticks, but then you keep getting knocked down. And it's like, no, I need you to respond a certain way. And so now when people come to try to push over your brick house or they try to kick it, no, they can't affect you anymore because you have understood how to protect the sweetest parts of you, right? And so being hard-hearted serves a purpose, but also dealing with hard-hearted people serves a purpose. It teaches you something. Now, to conclude this message before I start to clarify, we talked about this in the last reading. It says, I'm no longer shrinking myself to be more digestible. You can choke. And so there were a lot of relationships where it seems like they were able to distort you energetically. And so in order to protect yourself, you don't keep them out, but you just become a lesser version of self in order to accommodate who they needed you to be for their own comfort. Now, I also have spiritual union, which is about the Two of Cups. In the event, it felt like love escaped you or healthy relationships. It's like, why do I keep dating the same people? Or why does it seem like my love life is cursed? I do have the energy of ritual. I have ritual, and it comes out on top of spiritual union. And so you are in the season of really prosperity beginning. You can finally drop an anchor. You can find love that is real and true and stable. Like the cage that you built around your heart, you totally can break it down. But I also see the energy of like maybe the people that you once were making sure could digest you. It's almost like maybe they are starting to choke on this version of you. And so now that they understand what comes for you in this next season, maybe they are casting some type of ritual on the spiritual unions that they know you are due, the spiritual unions that they know you are owed. OWED. So I am going to keep pulling in order to clarify. But when I see ritual and spiritual union coming out with the people that couldn't digest you and now they're choking on you, I almost feel like there may be people who are bitter, people who can't go with you in this next season, people who maybe thought that they loved you, but when you become this version of self, now they carry a certain level of envy or jealousy. And so now they want to kind of supernaturally interrupt what is supposed to be coming towards you. And then I also get the energy of good luck. So not only can you walk into spiritual unions and experience good luck, but it's like you're not playing small. And so the small people that you used to play with, they don't like it. Okay, so now I'm going to clarify my homemade deck with this one. The first card I'm going to clarify is let your decisions come from a place of peace, not reaction. When we're reacting, whoever caused us to feel a certain kind of way and react, they won. They are in control of our energy. They're in control of our mind, right? Anybody that can cause you to kind of operate like that, they are dominating you. They have control over you. And there's nobody in this world that is more powerful in your own life than you. So now we have enjoyed the silence. So the thing about having peace is the things that used to get you all wild, the things that used to scatter your mind, the things that used to distort you emotionally. Once you understand how to operate in a level of peace, it's like you can maintain a state of stillness and quietness. And so listen, it could have, I said this in another reading recently, but sometimes even quiet people are very loud because you can still hear the chaos in their energy. They don't have to say anything, but you understand like something about your presence is chaotic, right? And so chaos isn't always talking. It's not always making a sound, but some people's energy and frequency is just very loud and distorted. And so for a period of time, that could have been you. But now that you have understood how to master your peace and sustain it, it's like the inside of you is quiet, it's harmonious, it's tranquil. The next card I'm going to clarify is this ain't that, homie. Now, it says hope doesn't stop the karmic wheel from turning. And so the very people that you had to have endings with, the very people that you had to cut off and deny access or block, those are the people that are holding some type of memory of love. These also would be the same people that got to benefit off of you being a lesser or smaller or lower version of self. These are the people that kind of played with you energetically because they were hoping to achieve or hoping to gain something. These people know that if you are walking into a season of real love and prosperity, in the event that they were doing rituals on your spiritual union or your fruitfulness, like these are the people that are hoping that the karma that comes back to them, it ain't gonna be what it is. Like they now, the next card I'm going to clarify is going to come out on top of people cry not because they're weak, because they've been strong for too long. And so we have elimination of evil. And so every tear that you cried was a reflection of your strength. And the strength that you were sitting in and the strength that you were owning and displaying is because you were really up against evil. You were up against people who didn't want to see you cry. You were up against people who didn't want to see you grow or advance. And so those tears is because you were still fighting, and crying is a beautiful way to purge, transmute, and release. You know, some people cry when they fight. I used to be like that when I was little. I haven't gotten any fights as an adult, but I'm just saying, your tears were also a way for you to eliminate the evil that had been done to you. In every tear, I'm imagining this now. Imagine that, like at the beginning, your tears were all straws, all those straws that you brought to that big bad wolf that was trying to relate to you. First, you had to cry all those straws. Then you had to cry all your sticks away. And it's like, you know what? Even if I cry, it's okay because I'm bringing Bix now. Like now I know how to protect myself. And so to cry is not an indication of being weak. In this sense, it is because you have been battling evil that has been done to you, evil that has been spoken over to you. And it's not that the evil goes anywhere. When we talk about eliminating evil, you're eliminating the impact that evil used to have over you, because now you're sitting in a space of silence because you understand how to sustain your peace. The next card I clarify is going to talk about being hard-hearted, operating from a place of greed at other people's expense. This could have been the type of people that you were dealing with. You know, this is the type of evil you were up against. Greedy people, people who only cared about their gain, their ability to be prosperous. They don't care who they take it from. They don't care who suffers. All right, I had two there. These are people that are not only hard-hearted to themselves, but these are people who are hard-hearted towards humanity. There are some people who come here to heal the heart of humanity. Those are light workers. There are some people who are here literally to hurt the heart of humanity. These are the people I'm talking about. So now we have the energy of love spell. And so the real love that you are now about to experience, like the stability of love, the stability of prosperity that you were cut off from, it is because you dealt with a lot of evil. But guess what? You developed a certain amount of strength and a certain amount of peace. Now this is that karmic wheel that's turning, right? And so everybody from the past that is still hoping you are a version of self that you used to be, this ain't that, homie. And if this ain't that, what does that mean for them? What does that mean for what happens next? And so this is about, listen, people were literally casting spells on your ability to experience life in terms of love, prosperity, fruitfulness, and abundance. It's almost like they didn't want to see you get to this version. They didn't want you to reach this level. The next card I clarify is, I'm no longer shrinking myself to be more digestible. You can choke. Honor what is ending. Anybody that casted any type of ritual on your spiritual unions, they don't always have to be romantic, but like if you've lived a life with evil, hard-hearted people, right, who really love to torture you. They always knew that you were a being of love. They knew that you were a light being. They knew that you were here to heal, right? But it's almost like they played with your energy in order to make you more like them. And for a period of time, you just cut yourself up in small pieces so that they could be able to digest you, so that they could be able to consume you. That is done, right? They are either going to choke or not even fuck with you at all. And so they need to honor what is ending. What is ending is the version of you that they used to be able to experience. That person is long gone, right? that person is long gone. The impact and the effects of their evilness, it doesn't hit the same anymore. And so this is what kind of triggers that wheel of karma to start spinning. The final deck I'm going to use is going to be the tarot deck. All right. The first card we pull is going to come out on top of divine guidance. So we have social media. Uh-oh. So one of the listen, and social media consumes the bulk of our social interactions, right? And so maybe you have some type of platform. Maybe you have been divinely guided to create a platform. Maybe there are some type of reservations that you have because you understand the type of wicked that exists on the other side of that screen, right? And so it's almost like the divine is guiding you to use social media, and for a period of time, it will be social media that will help you, and it will groom you to not react, to not respond to the wickedness. Listen, no matter what people type on that screen, you are still at peace, right? Whatever you plan for the day, you can still do it. Whatever you were thinking before you turned on the phone, the tablet, or the computer, you can still have that thought and that feeling. There's nothing that anybody can send you through a screen that can take your peace away unless you allow it. So this talks about finally you being able to enjoy a level of silence, not because people aren't still wicked, not because people aren't still evil, but you understand now how to mentally and emotionally sustain yourself. Maybe people were trying to create a lot of obstacles and challenges for you because they didn't want you to get to the point where you have this platform, this level of exposure, the ability to express. But if the Most High says make a platform, you make a platform. And if people torture or terrorize or hack or steal or rob, listen, they will do the evil that they will do. But the wheel of karma is going to turn. None of that is a reason for you to no longer have peace in the thing that you have been divinely guided to do. The next card I pull is going to come out on top of hope. Ace of Wands. And so this is what I'm thinking. I almost feel like the Most High says, all right, I want you to go create a platform. I want you to create a channel. And let's say that there was a level of resentment, jealousy, and envy where people didn't want you to get to that point. Maybe they didn't want you to grow. Maybe they, whatever. And so the very new beginning that the Most High is giving you is the very thing that people think that they can terrorize. And because I have the 6 of memories, these are people from your past. You know how like when you try to step out in the new version of yourself, the past people that knew the old you, or past people that got to benefit off of you not knowing who you really were, it's almost like they want to remind you who you used to be. And in the process of that, they want to tell the world who you used to be. Which, listen, let me tell you, first of all, I'm never going to come back as Tennille again. And I understand that. And I also understand that every reading I give, I'm only going to give it one time, right? Now, in the beginning of my channel, I was pushed to almost exhaust all of me, meaning the identity of Tennille. I was pushed to exhaust it. I shared a lot of stories that were personal. I had to be very vulnerable. Some of those stories could have made me feel a level of embarrassment, but I just don't attach emotions to like that anymore. And so a lot of the things that I had to share, it was because, listen, I'm never coming back again. I'm about to exhaust all this shit because anything that I've already been through is not going to go with me where I am. But I also wanted the people to know of my past who almost feel like they have something hanging over you. But don't you remember? Yeah, I remember. And I just told 20,000 people about it. Now what? Like, you know what I mean? There's nothing that you can say about me that I haven't already said about myself. There's nothing that you can do to me that I haven't already made peace with, right? And so my ability to stand in Tennille, no matter how she showed up that year, no matter how she showed up that day, that's me taking my power back. And so you can't use me against me in order to take peace away. Like, you can't do that. You know, but people will try to do that because this is the world we live in. And so if you have been divinely guided to create a platform, but you have somehow been hesitant because you don't know how people are going to respond to you, I'm not saying that you have to go out and you have to just expose it all. No, because I never really knew which reading was going to call me to expose something. But when I felt it, I knew I had to do it, right? And that is me taking my power back of all the versions of me where people took my power away. People definitely have stories of me where I was not my greatest self. And so as long as they're holding on to it, they think that they can possess me in some kind of way. But you can't, right? You can't. And so I also recognize that having a platform, you are demonstrating something. I am called to demonstrate something in a certain way. I'm not always going to do it well, but I just have to do it, right? I'm never coming back as her again. This is it. I will exhaust it all. I don't care about it, right? And so when I can make that peace with myself, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? So that may be for you. But if the Most High says that you have been divinely guided to create a space, right? Anybody that from your past that you have had to end it with, maybe these people are hoping that you don't speak about them. I don't know what they're hoping for, but it says, you know, hope doesn't stop the karmic wheel for turning, because maybe during your seasons of mental and emotional instability, there were a lot of people that benefited off of you, of not coming out, of not showing, of not like stepping into self. Maybe this is what it is, but if you have been called to have a new beginning, there may be some people who don't like it. And so maybe they create private accounts. Maybe they use false names or false identities. Maybe they report your channel. Maybe they do anything they have to do to slow you down. If the Most High says you are supposed to have a space online, you will have a space online. And if it is supposed to thrive, it'll thrive. Don't give people power. Don't give people power. And anybody that tries to have power in your life is already revealing to you that they have no power in their own life. Because why the fuck do you think that you can control something in somebody else's life, right? And so listen, that's what needed to be learned, right? There's nobody that is stronger in your life than you. But if you keep responding to the bullies or to those that bait or expose, if you respond to them in a way that's emotional and you break apart, it's because you don't yet know that. You don't yet know that they really have no power, right? And so I knew that in certain seasons, certain videos, certain messages, I was supposed to pull my power back. And the power is really because I felt some type of shame, regret, or remorse. And sometimes it wasn't because people were holding that over me. Some things I shared, people didn't even know because I never shared it with anybody, you know? But still, that was a version of my darkness that I had to integrate. Okay, so the next card I pull is going to come on top of endings. So we have the King of Pentacles. So this King of Pentacles, social media is a King of Pentacles. Okay, so the King of Pentacles, in this space, this is somebody that you had to spiritually protect yourself from. This is somebody that may have a little money, somebody that may have a little power. And so maybe they use their money and their power to bully you. Y'all, let me just say it. So there is my very first tarot channel that I'll share at some point, right? And I remember telling a very close family member that I created this channel. Literally within like a night, I got like 10 to 16 new subscribers. As soon as I told this one person in my life that I created this channel, I got 10 to 16 subscribers. And then within a few hours, they all were gone. And immediately I knew that this person was fucking with me. Like, that person in my life did not want me to create this space. They didn't want me to develop this gift. Now that channel is a channel that was really focused on numerology. And so I would use your key numerology numbers from your chart, and I would create videos based on the energy of the numbers, still using tarot cards. I'll share it, okay? And so not only did I send this person the channel, but I also sent them the videos that apply to them based on their personal numbers. And the response I got back was like, oh, well, we can talk about this later. First of all, who the fuck are you? And what the fuck is there to talk about? Like, I don't need approval. I don't need you to tell me. So personally, I already know the person that didn't want me to get here, that didn't want me to speak, that didn't want me to grow, that didn't want me to develop this aspect of self. And so I could understand how behind the scenes, this person was almost bullying me. But you got to be a punk to bully anybody, because like, bullies are just punks, right? And a lot of people use social media to bully you, but because they're a punk, they don't show their face. They create false accounts. They get groups. They gang stalk. You know how they do. So you may have had to develop a thick skin, similar to me, in order to kind of get past these people who don't want you to elevate, who don't want you to develop your voice, who don't want you to develop your talent or your skill. But if the Most High says you can do it, then I want you to do it, because there is nobody more powerful. Even the people that think they are more powerful than you, they can think whatever the fuck they want to think. But you are you, and your calling is your calling, and your gift is your gift. And so the way that I exhaust all of Tennille's darkness is I just talk about it, and from a lot of fucking people, right? Because that is me exhausting it. If you bully me behind the scenes, you will make it on a video, right? If you are fucking with me energetically, you're going to be on a video. I don't know which one, because I never know how the cards are going to lay. So you just got to wait your time. But if you don't want your time to come up, then leave me the fuck alone. Some people got to learn. All right, the next card I pull is going to come out on top of anchor and stability. So anyway, you've developed a level of protection because you finally brought bricks, right? Maybe there was a specific person that had some type of power in the material or the physical world. You have a spiritual gift that this person doesn't have. If all they have is money, they don't have anything at all. Okay, but you had to recognize that. You needed to not emotionally and mentally show up like a straw house or a stick house. You had to show up understanding that you have something inside of you that's worth protecting, and you better bring bricks, because people are going to come for you. They're going to challenge you. They're going to try to torture you and terrorize you and bully you. That's okay, because you could never control them. You never could, but what you can control is your peace. So when you build the brick house, you build it to protect what's inside. And yes, it also keeps them out because it eliminates the evil that they are bringing to your door. All right. So this card, look, these motherfuckers, 10 of Cups, family. And so this King of Pentacles could have been a family member. Typically, when I think of the King of Pentacles or the Queen of Pentacles, these are like mom and dad. These are like people's, people who run a household, people who are providers, they financially, but these are also people that could do some shady shit with some money in order to make ends meet. But the 10 of Cups is about family. And so what I'm seeing here is like, even after you get to a point of success and growth, it doesn't mean that the evil is going to stop. And so, right, just by having your face, just by creating a platform, by developing yourself in this way, real love and prosperity is going to come to you because you are really showing yourself a level of love. Like you are building and creating this. And listen, what you put out, it has to come back. But there will still be some people who test you. And so this love spell, it's almost like they still, I told y'all before I heard about Nero, it's like when you're manifesting, so you call in what you want with your mind, but it is your heart that draws it in from the universe. And so a love spell is supposed to impact your heart so that you can't call back. And so imagine posting, and nobody's responding, right? That has the ability to mentally and emotionally disturb you. And then sometimes you'll be like, well, fine, I guess I'm not supposed to have the channel, or I'm not supposed to. But what if it's somebody who's messing with you? Right? But when you decide not to post, when you decide not to show up, you're acting like a straw house. You're acting like a stick house. I'm telling you that no matter what, cause and effect. The law of cause and effect has to happen. Now, what you post needs to be authentic, and it needs to be a part of what you are divinely guided to do, right? Now, I could sit up here and I could air out everybody, but I really have to honor the way the cards are laid, and I wait to be moved, like, right? Because I understand what my mouth is capable of, but I also understand that I will be punished if I misuse it. So I only talk about what's supposed to be on this table, but this channel was really created by me talking about me. Some people don't want me to talk about me because they understand that the way they impacted me negatively, right? So they know they got to come up in the story. Anyway, we have the energy of family. We have the energy of you like having real love, having prosperity, and maybe getting to the 10 of Cups. Like you are due a 10 of Cups. And though it doesn't mean a family and kids, it means that you were supposed to have relationships with unconditional love. You were supposed to have healthy relationships that thrive and that are prosperous in their own right? But then you have these people that you had to leave behind, and you told them this ain't that. Right? And so now, in order to punish you for finally following what you've been divinely guided to do, they will mess with you. Y'all, let them. And if you cry, you're only crying because you're strong. You're only crying because you're strong. And you're purging, and you're transmuting, and you're purifying, and you're cleansing. The last card I pull is going to come out on top of good luck. And so we have false person. And so there's a false person that did a ritual. They did a ritual on your prosperity. They did a ritual on your ability to experience real love. They didn't want you to have money. They didn't want you to have love. And if they didn't want you to have a 10 of cups, this could have been family who were a part of doing this. They knew that if you get love and you get money, of course you're going to be stable. You will finally be able to drop an anchor, meaning you can root yourself in the physical world. Some people just don't want you to have power and control over your life because they thought that they were bigger than they were. And as long as you believe and respond and react to them as if they are powerful, then it's true. Then they are true, right? So you can prove them right or you can prove them wrong. But in this reading, you have proved them wrong. If there was a ritual done on your spiritual reunion, that is what needs to honor the ending, right? And so anybody that was moving behind the scenes, these people that were able to eat you when you were smaller, these are the people that are now choking. And so if you felt like you couldn't experience some type of good luck, if you felt like somebody was messing with your stability, there was some type of false person, known or unknown, that was not really allowing your energy to flow in the way it needed to be. Listen, people have all different kinds of ways of messing with your growth, your development, and the resources that are due to you. And for a period of time, it will have to stand. But everything has a cycle, everything has a start, and everything has an ending. But if you decide to stop because it is not growing and progressing in the way that you wanted to, well, then you have proven them right. You have literally given them power. I'm telling you, take that shit back in the way that you were divinely guided to take it back, right? Okay. I love y'all. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.